For this intro, I'm very excited to say that I've been joined by pop star Billie Eilish. Hi, Billie.
So my hair is red.
Woo! Sick!
You know what's funny? So I dyed the roots green 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
No way.
A month ago. And my plan was always green roots, and then like a month later I was gonna dye my roots red. That was always my plan. And then I just left them green for fucking 2 years.
As you should.
I don't know why. And so I wanted to do this for 4 years, and I did it.
Woo!
And you're the first to see it, so thanks.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool. Well, cheers, Billie. Let's get into the episode. All right, chums. Amidst the chaos and the kerfuffle of Taichung's fashionable DaLi district, this is me. I'm walking home. Me being Jack Tidball, and home being my residence here in Taichung, Taiwan. I'm at the moment at the side of a busy road, so because of the lights we might hear some intermittent traffic and that, but yeah, I think that gives it a nice little backdrop, and we might get a couple of grandmas on scooters and stuff like that. Gives it a bit of character, a bit of flavour. Those there, that buzz was a couple of lads on bikes, and that bike there had 4 people on it, so pretty cool. But yeah, we've turned away from the river now, and this journey normally takes me about an hour or so to walk back, but if I mess about, this can take a lot longer. But yeah, whatever. But summer's coming, and I can feel it in the air, in my plums. This week we've had the first sweats of summer. Beautiful, have settled into the crevices, and it's nice and cool now. But Taiwan, it only has 2 seasons. There's hot and wet, and then there's sort of cooler and dry kind of thing. And we're at the end of cool and dry, heading into hot and wet. So, you know, summer's coming, and you can feel it. You know, it's not great. I'm not really a big fan, but pretty much. Oh, this is nice. I've got a little bit of cover here. Anyway, pretty much like every day in the summer, you'll get one big heavy rain shower, a big dump, and it kind of just pisses down for a little bit, and then the boiling sun will come out, and it all just evaporates and makes everything fucking humid. We're talking 100% humidity kind of thing. Like, you're wetter outside than being in a bathtub. I don't know how it works, but it's like you're being broiled sometimes. Bit of a sweat box. And I tell you what, I say sweat box, but I'm not really sure what that is. So, hold on. Right, I got ChatGPT, why not? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Dear ChatGPT, sorry to bother you. What is a sweat box? Thanks. So here we go. Right, so a sweat box can mean a few different things depending on the context. There's 3 different meanings of sweat box. Okay, so number 1, an interrogation or punishment cell. Not sure how much that fits. I'm just picturing, well, I suppose, yeah, you got the pressure and whatnot. It has a very small, poorly ventilated, confined cell used in some prisons and makes people sweat heavily, blah, 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 sometimes causing, rough. Okay, so it's an inhumane treatment. I wouldn't say here the weather is inhumane, so whatever. Number 2, a sauna-like therapy box. Okay, this could work. Sauna-like. What else could be sauna-like other than sweat box? But in wellness or spa settings, a sweat box can refer to a small sauna cabinet. Maybe this is the one, yeah. Use it for detox or relaxation. But I think that doesn't really contain the uncomfortable feeling. So maybe it's a mixture of 1 and 2 so far. And then number 3. In financial markets, a sweat box informally refers to a high-pressure trading situation where someone is forced to make quick decisions under stress. It's like being sweated for results. So, not like that either. So, in summary, it's a prison punishment cell, a sauna or sweat therapy device, or a high-pressure situation trading slang. So yeah, maybe not a sweat box, but yes, if you want, I can also explain the most famous historical use of sweat boxes in prisons and interrogations, which is pretty disturbing but interesting historically. Wow, no, that's all for now. Okay, yeah, so not a sweat box, maybe a mobile sort of therapy sweat box in a way, but it gets hot here is what I'm saying. So, yeah, the summer weather, it's not nice, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's harder to do nice walks and stuff. You know, you're always thinking about the sweat element about stuff. But yeah, here's the thing about weather in general, actually. Like any weather, here's my theory. Any weather's nice as long as you don't have to be doing something in it, you know? So thunderstorms, beautiful. Like, you know, pricking about in a thunderstorm, nothing better. You're running around having some fun. If there's a storm and if you're going to work through it and you've got a fucking corporate haircut and shit, you know, shiny shoes, that's not great. So the same thing. It's what you have to do in it that makes it bad. But yeah, the sun, beautiful. But again, not to go out in it. Horrific. Like just lying in the sun. It's fucking hell. But like, and you have to do all the kind of sun admin and that. But yeah, so sun, not the one. And then snow, you know, playing in the snow, lovely. It's sort of, it's more of an idea in theory, isn't it? Like more of a sort of cinematic montage snow experience. But yeah, if you've got a commute in snow, grim. You know, particularly that sort of 50-50 sludgy, snowy, dirty silt situation. Like that's not it. So the best thing with any weather is just being sort of nicely sheltered from it, kind of just outside of the weather, and then you're enjoying it but you're not in it, sort of thing. So I remember having a night, this is when I was in the jungle, and it was in hammocks. So I was in a hostel and they had like a little roomy treehouse area, and I'm wanting to say Guatemala here, I can't really remember, but yeah, anyway, it was Central America regions, and like sort of away from the building, up some stairs and that, the area, it had like a sort of open, like sort of, it was almost like a tree house, but it was open kind of thing, and they had a little roof on it and that. But yeah, we set up our hammocks in there, and like in the night there was a thunderstorm, and it was just pelting this little treehouse room you know, and there was no windows, no cover, but because it was all just straight down, you're still dry and you're there, sort of all safe, and you're just watching all the trees and the lightning and stuff. Now that was fucking crazy. But, you know, if we were just a few meters away, just out in the thunderstorm, completely different experience, isn't it? Just hell. So, yeah, I mean, that was fucking crazy. I mean, I don't really have a good example for this weather thing. Okay, hear me out here. Skiing. So I think skiing is the thing, you know, like everything about skiing is fucking brilliant. Like, you're in the mountains and you've got all the stuff on so you're not cold and everything's nice. Like, everything about skiing is good. The whole vibe, everybody. But it's apart from the actual skiing itself, horrendous. You know, you're in those big boots and there's the constant threat of bone trauma or whatever. And I think that the pleasure of skiing isn't worth the risks of skiing, sort of thing. And I think I'm losing my point a bit though, but yeah. So, I mean, I remember one morning, early morning, this is in the skiing trip, like we got up and I had all the gear on and that, you know, like a belly full of bread and hot cheese. And yeah, like for the skiing, you get picked up in these little shuttle bus situations, and they're just doing loops kind of back and forth, like out to the mountains, back to the town, out to the mountains, back to the town. And yeah, it was just stopping in all the hotels and whatnot, kind of picking up skiers and whatever. Lovely. And there was like this bus, this sort of, everyone's all excited. You got a nice little bubble of chat that's building up, kind of like the bus fills up and more people, you got all your stuff, everyone's excited kind of thing. Everyone's like hanging on to their skiing paraphernalia or whatever. And then like at one of the stops, this fucking lad gets on and he had, we're talking a full suit, like office stuff, like he's sort of written by fucking like a David Foster Wallace, like he's the Pale King kind of thing, that sort of thing. Like he's worked in, he's going to an insurance company or something, like some sort of Kafkaesque corporate drone just dropped into this ski village. And now remembering him, like in my head now, he's got a little briefcase and like a little hat and shit. But yeah, he looked miserable. And imagine that, you know, and there were no offices in town. Well, there must have been, but I mean, I remember thinking, what the hell is this guy doing here on the ski bus? He just commutes with all the skiers every day. And well, I suppose that's the thing. Okay, so maybe my thing is not about weather per se, like, you know, there's no bad weather, there's just bad planning or whatever. And maybe my problem here that I'm getting at is actually just having to do stuff is the problem. So, you know, like having to go to work is the bad thing. So, you know, snow's nice, but having to go to work in the snow isn't nice, but obviously. So, yeah, anyway, Taichung's getting warm and I'm not up for it. That is the bullet point of that little presentation there. And yeah, I don't know if you can hear it on the mic, but there is a little bit of a breeze now. So, you know, I'm just out making the most of it, walking back from work. And yeah, Taichung's fucking nice today. It's busy and I'm accepting the bustle. It's not bad. So, like, you know what I like about living here? Like, it's the you can't really predict it, you know. And let's move away from weather now. Like, what I'm saying is, like, there was just a guy there. I've just passed the little corner, and he was just sitting in his front room, just whittling, like making himself a nice wooden Buddha. And it's about 10 p.m. now, and I mean, what's that guy's life? You know, who is this guy in Taichung's fashionable DaLi regions, just 10 p.m. making a Buddha? And like, is that a hobby? Is he on some kind of mad deadline? You know, like some angry monk's gonna be at his door in the morning. So, where's my fucking statue, you slag? You told me you'd have it ready by Wednesday, you fucking bastard. Kind of thing. How am I supposed to fucking meditate without my Buddha, you bastard? You know, like knocking his door down. But yeah, I like that it's never clear if the buildings here are, if they're houses, if they're businesses, if they're restaurants, if they're temples, garages. I mean, and they all just sort of spill out into the road as well. So you'll be walking along and, you know, if you were anywhere else in the world, you would be walking on pavement, but you're walking along and then suddenly you're going through like some lad's business, or there'll be some people fixing scooters or whatever, or you'd sort of, you look up and you're in, I don't know, you're just walking through a group of lads making dumplings or something, and it's sort of, they'll be making too many dumplings to be for home use, but then too few to be for a restaurant. And you just walk in, you're like, oh, what the hell's going on here, sort of thing. I thought this was the pavement. And yeah, like I've just, hold on, just having a little nose in now. And so obviously there's never curtains, so probably fucking terrifying. So I just looked in, I kept it casual, and she didn't see me, but there was just an old girl, and she's sitting on her couch, and she was watching TV, you know, having a night, and but she's watching TV sort of through a scooter. Like in her front room, there's a scooter parked between her and the TV, kind of thing. And obviously, you know, you got the tiny temple in the back, doing his thing. But it's like, what is that room? Is that just this multi-purpose space? Is she a business owner? Is she going to sell that scooter? Or is it just some madness? So yeah, it's I like it. And yeah, another nice thing, I think, apart from like obviously around the bus stations and stuff and train stations and that, like there's minimal tourism here. I mean, you do get tourists, but they're sort of going through to Sun Moon Lake and Puli and whatnot around. So I sort of like being able to experience the town with an outsider lens. It's kind of like, well, I've been here for years now, but it still feels like I'm exploring. So, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. Taichung's got some beautiful spots, and like one way it's close to the mountains, and it's got like, hiking trails and stuff. And then you've got the wetlands the other side, and there's the coast. But yeah, like the magic of it, it's the function, I think. Like, it's a big city, and it's got, you know what I mean, it's got McDonald's and KFC and all that, but like any other city and shit. But like it still feels unspoiled, still feels like proper life, you know. So I mean, I'd say if I'm going to compare it to Taipei, I mean, Taipei is the sort of the bells and whistles, and then down here it sort of feels legit. And like, it's one of those places where if you visit, you're going to have an all right time. But again, if you're with the right people, whatever, you have a good time. But if you live here, you'll love it. And I can't really describe that. So yeah. Anyway, I thought I'd get another episode going, and because I want to try and keep these regular, semi-regular. I think 2026 so far, there's been at least one a week on average. But yeah, I think it's always difficult following an interview one. Like I really like the last one, and you know, because then you've got the expectation of new listeners. So, hello guys. This is more of a typical Tidbits episode. But yeah, if you're just getting on board, welcome. Tell your friends. And yeah, tidbitspod is a kind of ongoing project that you know, I look for things. I'm trying to make it better, but yeah, it's going to make sense eventually. So get on board at the ground level, help it out. And yeah, good news, guys. The Patreon has come alive, and by come alive, I mean that my sister has subscribed. So yeah, I've been putting focus into that as well, what that's going to be, and this is, you know, these are the first steps into making Project Break Even a thing, getting tidbitspod back to net zero, and yeah, very exciting. So yeah, first plan, break even, and then after that, we can get some wheels in motion. So, you know, here's a question for you. If you're still listening, and if you were to ever sign up to the Patreon, subscribe or whatever, like, what would you want? What's the thing? I know some you know, podcasts that do like extra episodes or whatever, or they'll give like things, but yeah, I'm in Taiwan, so it's not really easy to get you stuff, sort of thing. So, like, what would you want is the question. If you did sign up, what can I give you, or what can we do? So, like, at the moment, when you sign up, you'll just get, you're keeping it alive. That's what's happening at the moment. Like, and you're obviously, you know, putting wind in the sails and giving a little pep in my step and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, I want to make it more about you guys, kind of thing, and get a little community together or something, like maybe a group chat, that kind of thing. But at the moment, it would, you know, I think it's going to take the first group to make it legit, because it's kind of like a big party, you know. You don't want to be the first one at the party, but after you've got a few people there, then it gets bubbling, gets good. So yeah, what do you think? Tell me, what do you want from the Patreon? And then, of course, get involved in that, and we can make it more of a community. But yeah, and I'm also doing more on Instagram now, like putting up some pictures and stuff, and I think I'm actually starting to like it. You know, I used to just, like, I'd go on there just to watch videos, you know, just to kind of, like a companion for having shits, you know. That was Instagram. Kind of, it was like a different YouTube or whatever. But yeah, it's actually pretty fun. And I've been going back through all my old pictures and that, and choosing songs. I mean, you already know how Instagram works, but I think I'm just late to it. So anyway, yeah, if you've invested in Instagram, probably the best time to get rid of your shares, because this is the time after 10 odd years that I'm actually starting to get into it. But yeah, tidbitspod, it's kind of in a weird stage where I'm starting to get follows from people that I don't know now as well, and there's sort of listeners I don't know as well, which are very welcome, but I think I've got to sort of change it to accommodate, maybe. But yeah, if you are one of those people, message me to say hello, just, you know, just so I know you're not like a chat bot or whatever. But yeah, at this very moment, tidbitspod, the Instagram, has got about 280 followers, which that's pretty cool. And then, like, for the podcast itself, there's about 30 of you that are keeping, you know, up to date as they come out. You'll be listening, which you guys are the best. You guys are the ones. That's the whole thing, you know. Without you here, it's just me recording them and then putting them in a, you know, another lost tapes archive or something. So I'm putting them out for you, and really appreciate that you're doing that. And yeah, I've sort of been a bit weary so far. I don't want to get any pricks listening, but whatever. I think you just got to get to the stage where you kind of just take it as it is, you know. You can't keep everyone happy, sort of thing. But yeah, and I've made some goals. So by the end of the year, I want to have expanded out a bit. Like, so I want to have maybe like at least 10 Patreon subscribers, and they'll be like the backbone. And then I want to try and get 50 more Instagram friends, and then just sort of build it nicely from there. Somehow try and get everyone, you know, talking and whatnot, and make it nice. But yeah, it's weird, isn't it, as well? Because at this stage, sort of what serves what. Like, I want the podcast to get listeners, but then I want the listeners to follow on Instagram. So it's sort of like a circle. Like, I guess the Instagram and the listeners go hand in hand, and then the Patreon backbone is just going to sort of develop out of there somehow. But I mean, it's all really confusing, isn't it? I'm trying to work it out, and some posts they'll get taken into like just some random country's algorithm or whatever. I didn't even know the word algorithm in this way until now. Now it seems to be what everybody's talking about. But yeah, like how does some get taken and some don't, and what's the mechanic? I'm actually starting to get interested in that side of things as well, even though I do miss the days of just putting stuff up and then it would just show it to your friends, sort of thing. That's all I really want. But yeah, anyway, so I think I'm just going to keep plugging away and, you know, building up the listeners, building up the Instagram and that. And then, 1, 2, miss a few, I'll be chatting to Michael Palin or David Attenborough, you know, someone like that. I mean, fucking hell, imagine, like, you know, next week on the programme, we've got Billie Eilish. Like, what the hell? What the fuck is she doing here, you know? But, yeah. Oh, okay, Chuck D's popping in, and we're not talking, no, not Charles Darwin. We're not talking about Charles Dickens. It's the Public Enemy one. Wow, okay, too many Chuck D's. And yeah, I think that's a big step, actually. That's going to be the thing. It's going to be getting guests that I don't know, sort of thing. I think that's the next big step. But I've got to get good at interviewing first, I think. But that's, again, like a bit of a catch-22. Like, you can't get good at interviewing until you've interviewed, and then it's too late, sort of thing. So yeah, I feel happy interviewing my friends at this point, but you know, imagine if you interview someone you don't know, and then, well, yeah, then you just don't put it out anyway. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there, because I'm about to go through an even busier bit of town. I'm about to walk through the little station and stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and putting up with the sound quality on this one. And yeah, thanks very much again for getting involved in Jules's projects as well. And I'm going to put the links, you know, to the Encounters book and all that stuff into the description for this one as well. So if you haven't got involved in that, do that now. Help them do their eco work and stuff. You know, help them buy the boat and all that good, all those good things. And yeah, right. Meeting adjourned. Let's make this thing's great. I believe in you. So yeah, don't leave this all on my shoulders. You guys can help out. And until next time, see you later.
It was really romantic.